Hello everybody, my name is Colin39. Welcome back to another video. Today, in this one, it's going to be my complete in-depth guide on the new Yummy archetype that's going to be coming out of Justice Hunters later this week. Yeah, so you can see the video is kind of super long. It's about an hour and a half long. So in this video, we talk about, at the beginning, we start a card analysis. We kind of talk over the cards. This is for a section. If you don't know what the cards are doing and would like to help try to understand it, this is what this section is trying to help you do. Later on, we talk about the pure deck and give you a deck list and some combos using the pure deck. And then later on in the video, I talk about engines you could be playing with Yummy as well. Things like Primite, Sky Striker, and Fiendsmith is what we talk about in today's video as well. But if you want to kind of skip ahead to a certain section that you would like to watch, there's going to be a lot of time stats in the link in the description down below for you to help skip towards. So yeah, also one thing I would also like to say is we're very close to 1,000 subscribers, so if you do kind of enjoy this type of content, I will be making another one about Dracoto, and I have made one for K9 in the past. I'll put in the link in the description down below for you to watch as well. But if you like this kind of content, please do consider subscribing. We are very close to 1,000 subscribers on the channel. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, now on to the card analysis portion of the video here. Now, if you already know what the cards do, again, I have timestamps in the link in the description down below to help you skip to like the deck list and the combos and stuff like that. But if you don't know what the cards do, this is what this section is meant for you. We'll read over the cards, and I'll try to help you understand what the cards does. So, they have 3 main deck monsters, 3 spell cards, 1 trap card, 3 synchros, and 1 link monster. So we'll start off with Cupsy Yummy. It's a level 1 light beast. That's all the main deck monsters are level 1 light beast. Its effect is if you control a link 1 or a level 2 synchro monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Now, all 3 of them have the effect like this, so they're just free specials. If you have a link 1 or a level 2 synchro monster on your field, that does not activate, which is really good, so it helps you play around like Impulse or something like that. Something like DDD can't negate this either, which is really nice. So all of them have this top effect where you can just free special them out to the field, but you can only special summon them once per turn this way. And then Cups Yummy, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Yummy card from your deck to your hand, except for Cups Yummy. Or if this card was special summoned by a synchro monster's effect, you can draw 1 card instead, and you can only use this effect of Cups Yummy once per turn. So it has a free special summon, and it's pretty much a starter for you. On normal or special summon, you can just search for any of the Cupsy cards in your deck, which is pretty nice. And then or if it's summoned by a synchro monster, you can draw a card, which matters, and we'll get to that in just 1 second on why that matters. But really good overall effect. This is pretty much the starter for the deck. Now, all of them are pretty much starters for the deck, but Cups Yummy is the best one to start with, just because it can search any of the Yummy cards in your deck as well. Now on to Cookie Yummy. So same thing, level 1 light beast. It has the same top effect of the summon condition if you control a link 1 or a synchro 2 special hit, but you can only be special summoned once per turn that way. But if this card is normal or special summon, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 1,000 attack, or if this card was special summoned by a synchro monster's effect, you can destroy that monster instead. You can only use each of these effects once per turn, which is really, really good. So this is kind of like your interruption kind of guy. Now, the special summon effect to lose 1,000 isn't like the greatest thing in the world. It might come up, don't get me wrong, but it's not the greatest. But if it was summoned by a synchro monster effect, it can destroy a monster on field instead, which is really, really good. So it makes it where it's like interruption off the synchro summons, which we'll talk about in just 1 second. But overall, it's also just, you know, a guy that can free special summon to help you combo, but it can be interruption during your opponent's turn as well. And the last main deck monster here is Lollipop Yummy, which again, same thing, level 1 beast, light beast monster with same summon condition as you control a link 1 or a synchro 2. You can just free special summon it, but it can only be special summoned once per turn that way. Then, if this card is normal or special summon, you can target 1 card your opponent in your opponent's graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, or if this was special summoned by a synchro monster's effect, you can banish that card instead, which is really good. So both effects are pretty much interruption. So if you shuffle it back or banish it, if it was summoned by a synchro effect, they're both still pretty much interruptions. You're just getting it out of the graveyard, which that matters for some decks. So that's really good. But again, it's just another like level 1 guy that can help you play into extension plays and help you combo, which is pretty nice as well. By technicality, is probably the worst of the 3, but you know, its graveyard effect, or its effect to shuffle back stuff from the graveyard is still not bad. There's a lot of graveyard reliant decks in the format, so that's not that bad. So that's your 3 main deck monsters. Now on to the spell cards. So we have 2 field spells and 1 quick play. We'll start with the field spell, Yummy's Mint, fucking goddamn, Yummy's Mint Minion, which is a field spell. So this it makes it where all yummy monsters you control gains 500 attack for each light beast monsters on the field. So as you can see, not all the yummies, especially the synchros and the link as well, doesn't really have attack, but this field spell makes it where, you know, they gain 500 for each monster on the field. So if you have 4 of them, they all gain 2,000, which is pretty nice. So it just gets big bodies on the field, so pretty good for you. Then you can use each of the following effects of this card once per turn. If you control a Link 1 monster, you can target one level 1 yummy monster in your graveyard, special summon it, which is really good. So it's just an extension play for you as well. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can target 2 yummy monsters in your grave and or banishment, place them and this card to the bottom of the deck. So it's also recursion as well for its bottom effect. So it's an extender and it's a recursion if this card's in the graveyard, which is pretty nice as well. Now onto the other field spell, which is Yummy's Mint Akroki. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. So this one is if you synchro summon a light beast synchro monster, you can target one card your opponent controls, destroy it, which is pretty nice. So it's pretty much interruption for you, which is pretty good. And then if this if a face-up monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, except during the damage step, you can special summon one yummy monster from your deck, which is really good as well. And it's pretty much any monster you control. It doesn't have to be a yummy monster that leaves the field. It's any monster that leaves the field. You can special a yummy from your deck, which is pretty nice as well. And then it has the same recursion as the other one that did, where if this is in your graveyard, you can target 2 yummy monsters into grave or banishment, place this card and those cards on the bottom of the deck in any order, and you can only use each effect once per turn as well. So, you know, the 2 field spells, you know, they have recursion. They both do different things. This is an extender. This is an interruption piece, which is pretty nice as well. And then for the quick play spell, Yummy Surprise. You can activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect once per turn. The first one here is target 2 light beast monsters you control and 2 cards your opponent controls, return them to the hand. So it can be interruption piece, which is pretty nice. Bouncing 2 cards is still fucking insane. It can special summon a yummy monster from hand or graveyard, but it cannot attack directly this turn. So it's, you know, could be an extender as well if you want it to be an extender. And then the third one is return a field spell from your face-up field or graveyard to your hand, then place one yummy field spell from your hand face-up onto your field. So if like a field spell is in your graveyard, you can just add it to hand and then just activate it straight away with Yummy Surprise as well. So three pretty solid effects. Now I think the first one is probably the best one with this one. The second one still might come up because it is just an extender piece. The third one might not be as relevant, and you'll see why once we talk about the extra deck monsters, but you know, still something that you probably need to know as well. And then the last last card in the main deck is the trap card, a continuous trap, Yummy Redemption. It makes your opponent monsters your opponent controls lose 200 attack for each light beast monster you control and is in your graveyard. And you're spamming these guys out a lot, so that's actually could be racking up, especially later in the games and stuff like that as well. And then once per chain, if you synchro summon a light beast synchro monster, you can draw a card, then place one card from your hand to the bottom of the deck. That's really cool because it's just a once per chain. So if you want to just deep draw into hand traps, it could be really good for you as well. But you can only trigger off like synchro summons, which sounds like you wouldn't be getting this effect a lot, but again, once we talk about the extra deck monsters, you'll see that actually you can get a couple draws off of that. And then the bottom effect here is you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one yummy monster you control and one monster your opponent controls, switch control of both of those cards, and you can only use this effect of redemption once per turn. So its graveyard effect, just being able to, basically creature swap at quick effect speed is pretty nice as well. Another interruption piece for the deck, which would be nice. So that is it for the main deck cards. Now let's get into the extra deck cards. So we're going to start off with the synchros first. So we'll Cupsy Yummy Way. So these are pretty much the upgraded versions of the main deck monsters. So they have Cupsy Yummy, Lollipop Yummy, and Cookie Yummy, but they all have Way at the end to kind of distinguish themselves from the main deck monsters. So, we'll start off with the Cupsy Yummy, which is a level 2 Light Beast Synchro monster, which is also a tuner, and that's applicable to all of them. All of them are tuners as well, level 2 Light Beast tuners. So, for this card, Synchro Summon, you can treat one Link 1 monster you control as a level 1 tuner, which is really good, because this deck has a really good Link 1, we'll talk about in just one second. But it treats any Link 1. So any generic Link 1 also can be treated as a tuner for Cupsy Yummy Way. That's what makes it really good, because none of the main deck monsters are tuners. So you think it'd be impossible for this, but there are some conditions make it where you can just make any Link 1 a tuner instead. You can only use each of the following effects of Lollipop Yummy Way once per turn. If this card is Synchro Summon, or sorry, we're not talking about Lollipop, we're talking about Cupsy, sorry. If this card is Synchro Summon, you can add 2 Yummy monsters from your deck to your hand, then discard 1 card. So basically just being able to search 2 Yummy cards is pretty good on Synchro Summon. Discards a card. You have to discard a card, but you don't have to necessarily discard the cards you search, which is pretty nice. A very good effect there. Then all the Synchro monsters have the same bottom effect here. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can quick effect return this to the extra deck to special summon 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard. So that's how you're getting the interruptions off of Cookie Yummy and like Cupsy Yummy, like their alternate Synchro, if they're summoned by a Synchro monster effect, is by their all the Synchro summons bottom effects, where if your opponent activates a card effect, you return to the extra deck special 2 Yummies. So since it was summoned off a Synchro effect, you can get the Cookie to pop, you can get the Lollipop to banish, or the Cupsy Yummy to draw a card, which is pretty nice. And this is a quick effect, so you can do it during your opponent's turn as well, which is pretty nice. So that is it for Cupsy Yummy Way. Now for Lolipo Yummy Way, which has the same Synchro-like requirement here, where you can treat any Link 1 as a level 1 tuner. And if this card is Synchro Summon, you can special summon 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard, but negate their effect. So 2 Reborns is still not bad. You're probably just going to Reborn the guys you immediately use for the Synchro Summon anyways. You can get you to another Synchro Summon if you want to as well. It's just free bodies. Again, nothing in the deck really locks you. Any of the main deck guys doesn't lock you, which is pretty nice as well. And it has the same bottom effect. When an opponent activates a card effect, you can return this to the extra deck and special 2 Yummies from your graveyard as well. And now that one doesn't negate the effect. So the top effect, when it's Synchro Summon, does negate the Yummy effects it special summons, but the bottom effect, the one that all the Synchros have, do not negate the effect. That does matter a lot. Do remember that. But that is Lollipop Yummy Way. Now we have Cookie Yummy Way. The same Synchro requirement, which is a level 1, or Link 1 can be treated as a level 1 tuner instead. If this card is Synchro Summon, you can target 2 face-up monsters on the field, change them to face down defense position. So just a free Book of Moon. You just have to be able to summon it during your opponent's turn, which they do have a way. We'll talk about it in just 1 second. But really solid effect there. And then it has the same bottom effect where your opponent activates a card effect. You can return this to the extra deck and then special summon up to 2 Yummy monsters from the graveyard as well. So Cookie is a Book of Moon, Lollipop is a Reborn, and Cupsy is a Roto, which is pretty nice as well. Now on to the Link 1. The Link 1 is the very important card in this deck, and you'll see why in just 1 second. Yummy Snatchy. Light Beast Monster that requires 1 level 4 or lower Light Beast Monster to make, which is any of the main deck guys. But very generic, so you can throw other cards in here you want as well. But if this card is Special Summon, you get to place a Yummy Field Spell from your hand or deck face up to your field, but you cannot Link Summon Link 3 or higher Link monsters for the rest of the turn. Still really solid, so it gets to the field spell straight away. It doesn't add it, so it can play around things like Droll and Lockbird and stuff like that, which is pretty nice. And that's when it's Special Summon, which does matter because the Synchros can summon out Snatchy from the graveyard as well, because it doesn't have to summon in defense position or anything like that, which matters a lot. So you can summon this during your opponent's turn and get to the other field spell, which could be an interruption piece as well. But this also has a bottom effect. Where once per chain during the main phase, you can, or your opponent's battle phase, you can pay 100 life points immediately after this effect resolves. Synchro Summon a Synchro monster using the monsters you control as material, including a Yummy monster. So you don't have to use specifically this Yummy monster, you just have to use a Yummy monster for that Synchro Summon. Very, very insane, especially since it's not a once per turn, it's a once per chain. Only the top effect is a once per turn, but the bottom effect is a once per chain. So this is how you're Synchro Summoning during your opponent's turn, is by using this and like probably a guy on field to go into your Synchro plays. That's how you can make Cookie Yummy during your opponent's turn, is through the Link monster and stuff like that. But it's very generic as well. It doesn't have to summon the Yummy Synchros. It can summon any Synchro monster from your extra deck. It just has to use a Yummy monster as material for that Synchro Summon, which is very, very good. Again, not a once per turn, so you can get this multiple times. If you Synchro Summon this off, summon out like a Cookie, Book of Moon, then Cookie Reborn, you can Reborn the Link and just another dude, and then go for another Synchro Summon play as well, because that bottom effect is not a once per turn for some reason. Very, very fucking dumb, to be honest with you. You have to pay 100 life points, which, I mean, sure, I get to have 80 activations of this card. Sure, I'll gladly take that for sure. But I guess that's something you do have to worry about. But that is it for the card analysis there. Now let's get into the deck list, shall we? Alrighty, now to our first deck list here, which is going to be showing off Cupsy Pier. Now, we have a couple things I want to talk about before we start talking about this deck list here, and that's some caveats. So, number one, even though I'm going to show off multiple deck lists in the video, I'm going to show off like a Striker list, I'm going to show off a Primite list, I'm going to show off a Fiendsmith list. By technicality, the thing with Yummy is it's really just a deck that's by itself. You can throw other supplemental engines in it that we're about to talk about in this video, but overall, it's just a Yummy deck just playing a different engine is pretty much what that is in that. So you might be confused. You might not be seeing Striker. That's because Striker is an engine by technicality. So I'll be putting that in a different portion of the video. But that is something I do want to put out. So by technicality, this isn't like a K9 or Dracotel. We can throw so many engines within it and like use the Dracotel and K9s as engines. Yummy is more just, Yummy is a deck. You're just going to throw in supplemental engines that complement the Yummy deck instead. Something I just wanted to throw out there as well. The second thing I want to throw out as well is the non-engine for Yummy as well. So the good thing about Yummy is it can play two different styles of non-engine. So the one I'm showing off here, and I'll show off in another deck list as well, is showing off just playing generic hand traps like Fua, Astral, Nib, and stuff like that. By technicality, you don't have to do this. This is one way you could play your non-engine in Yummy, but there is another way you can play your non-engine in Yummy, is that by playing songs, thrust, and, or well, I guess just board breakers with thrust and droplet and stuff like that, where you cut the Ash, cut the Droll, cut the Nib, maybe you still keep Fua, but you cut Astral, Nib, and put in songs of the Dominators, and then like board breakers to kind of help you play around the K9 cards, because if you hand trap a K9 card with like Ash or Droll or something like that, that means they can play with their hand, like with like Azuna, you turn on their Azuna in hand and stuff like that. But if you use songs or songs and then board breakers, they can't activate their K9 cards in hand, which very much is important. That's something you will see in this next format. So that's one thing I wanted to put out as a caveat. So with two deck lists, so with the Pier and the Fiendsmith deck list, I'm using this non-engine where you're playing like Astral and stuff like that, things that activate in the hand. With the Striker and Primite list though, I'll be showing off more of the non-activated from hand effects, so like Imperm, Purge, songs, plus like board breakers and stuff like that. So that's another thing I want to say. There's two ways to, you know, make your non-engine. You can play it like this, or you can play the more board breaker type of list as well. But I wanted to do the Pier version with the hand trap version because Sangan is a very good normal summon for this deck. So the reason why Sangan is really good is because since none of the Yummy effects trigger their effect to special summon themselves, even though Sangan makes it where you can't activate their effects this turn, it can still search this, and then since their summon effects aren't a activated effect, you can still just special summon them to get to plays, right? So if you normal summon Sandian, you can make Almirage, go search for any of the Yummy guys, and then the Yummy guys don't activate special, then go into a synchro summon of Cupsy Yummy way, and then just kind of play from there. So I think Sangan is actually not that bad of a starter for the deck as well. But as you can see with the deck list, we're like main or 3 on every name because you just want to see the names in your hand. We're on the Sangan because, again, Sangan not only can search for the Yummy cards, but if you already have a Yummy card in hand, it can just search for a hand trap instead, and like Ash, Blossom, or Jewel and Lockbird, which makes it a very good thing for you. So if you open like a lot of engine, you can just search for a non-engine card instead. Very, very good that Sangan could be played in this deck as well. I'm on only one of each field spell because, again, the Snatchy can just get access to both field spells, and they recur themselves, so it's not really that much of a problem. You don't need to play more than one of each. I'm playing 2 Yummy Surprise. You can play 1 or 2. Since this is more of the pure version of the deck, I'm playing 2 Surprise just so you have in the deck. Again, usually the standard is probably 1, but you can play 2 as well. It's still pretty much fine. 1 or 2. I think 3 might be a little too much, but 1 or 2 is pretty much fine. I think 1 is more standard, but 2 isn't that much of a problem either. Obedience Schooled is another card I want to talk about as well. This card is very fucking insane. So if you don't, the one thing about the deck is if they hit your normal summon, you're in a bad spot. So that's kind of the one thing you want to play around in the deck, is to make sure your normal summon doesn't get hit straight away. And Obedience School is one of those cards that does that. Because if you control no monsters, you can just special 3 level 2 or lower beast effect monsters from your deck, which is fucking insane. So you can summon 1 of each name, and you didn't waste your normal summon to do that. The only lock that sucks about this is for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except for beast monsters. So you can't make some other synchro monsters like Herald of the Arclight and like Martial Metal Marcher that we'll talk about once we get to the extra deck, which that does matter. But it makes it where if you're like going second, like if your normal summon doesn't gets hit, you can still play with like the Obedience School, which does matter. Very, very good card. It summons out 3 dudes, so it's still pretty much worth it going first as well, because you get 3 free dudes without wasting your normal summon. Even though it does negate their effects, you're just linking these off for other stuff, and then once you reborn them from the graveyard, you can trigger their effects then, which is very, very nice. So Obedient School will for sure see play with Yummy, without a doubt. Another card you could play is Pirireus Map. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but it's another card you could play. Now, I'm only playing it at 1 because if you don't know what this card does, at the start of the main phase 1, you can add a monster with 0 attack from your deck to your hand, but have your life point. So you can just add any of these guys, or add Cupsy. Cupsy's the... No, sorry, you can't add these two, but you add Cupsy, which matters because Cupsy's the most important one because it's kind of your starter for the deck. But until the end of the next turn after this card resolves, you cannot activate the added monster's effects with the same names until you normal summon that card. So basically, you just search Cupsy and then just normal summon Cupsy and play from there. That's kind of your way to play. Now, the problem with Map is that it has your life point. So it plays hard into Vanquish Soul with like the Heavy Borger and the Trap Burn. That does matter a lot, so that's why I'm not like maxing out on it, but it is something you could play in your deck if you really want to, as just another consistency piece. But do keep in mind it does have your life point, so it plays hard into like the Vanquish Soul burns and stuff like that. Does matter, especially since the Link 1 does keep burning as well for you in that matchup. So something just to keep in mind, but it is technically a starter, so it's in the deck. And then 1 for 1 because they're all level 1, so you can just discard any of your like non-engine special and then play. It's another way to play around your normal summon not getting hit and stuff like that, so pretty important for that as well. And then the non-engine, again, this could be whatever the hell you want it to be. Again, I'm just on a generic kind of thing. If you want to play the board breakers, you can as well. Purge is probably important to mention. Is this deck can play Purge. It kind of conflicts with the Ash Blossom with depending on the non-engine you're playing, but I still think it's worth it because these are all lights. Purge is just another Ash Blossom by technicality, so it's still fine. It maybe conflicts with Sangan because you can't activate Dark, so going second, Sangan's a little worse, but if you're going first, that's not that much of a problem anyways. So Purge is just a hand trap. Is one... Oh, sorry, I took out one of the cards I did not mean to take out. Let me put it back in here. Cupsy, there we go. But yeah, it's just one of the dominance cards you could play. It's like Impulse in like any dark deck. Purge is like anything for the light decks, which matters for you. So this is the dominance you can play in Yummy. Now, Songs can also search it as well. The reason why Songs is good is because you don't activate anything from your hand or graveyard anyways, so the lock for Songs doesn't necessarily matter for you anyways. Now, if you're playing Ash, Droll, and Nib, you can't play Songs, but if you're more on the board breakers, none of the Yummy cards activate in hand or graveyard, so you can just throw Songs and be fine with that as well. So that is it for the main deck. Extra deck, you're on 3 of the Link 1s. This is very important because you do go through your Link 1s a lot, so you want to just play 3 of this without a doubt, because you will go through 3, and especially in like a grind match, so you do just want to play 3. I'm on Relinquished Anima because it's just another generic Link 1. If they play into the zone, it helps as well. Link Spider is for Nibiru. If they end up Nibiruing you, you can link the token to Link Spider, and if you have any of the level 1s, you can keep playing afterwards. Almirage is for the Sangan. This is your Link 1 target for Sangan. You normal summon Sangan, link into Almirage, or search for a guy, special the guy, and then go into your play after that. So Almirage is specifically for Sangan. If you're not playing Sangan, you probably don't have to play Almirage. But it's also important, you can just like normal summon a hand trap, go into Almirage, and then play with like, if you drew like Fua and like, let's say Lollipop as a going first, you can just normal summon the Charmy, go into Almirage, and then special the Lollipop Yummy. Something to think about as well with that. Same thing with Ash, same thing with Droll as well. But Droll also has Relinquish you can play off of as well. SP is just a generic extra deck guy. For the Synchros, we're only on 1 of each. It doesn't necessarily need to play more than that. Maybe you can play like 2 Cupsies, but again, these put themselves back into the extra deck, so they're not that much of a problem. They reoccur themselves pretty well, and you're also playing another card, the Cat, that can also put it back in the extra deck. We'll talk about Cat in 1 second, though. So you only need 1 of each of these cards. You don't necessarily need to play more than 1 of eeach. The Cat is just like a cool little Synchro 3 that you can make. If you have like enough bodies, you can make this Synchro into a Herald of the Arclight, and then go Sorrow Cat, like put back one of your Synchro monsters that's in graveyard to the extra deck, and then just re-special Sorrow Cat to like have a body as well. And it has a once per chain during the main phase. Immediately after its effect, resolve Synchro Summon using this card you control, which is pretty good as well. You're playing the Starham. It's just a guy that can free go into another dude. If this card Synchro Summon, discard a card, special summon a 1 monster from your graveyard that was used as material as a Synchro Summon. If you do, treat it as a tuner, so you can just bring back one of the level 1s. Treat it as a tuner to go into Herald of the Arclight, which is nice as well. And then if it's in the graveyard, you can discard 2 cards, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field as well. Not a bad overall overall bad card. It's also a level 3 light beast, so it's good if you're going turn 3, special itself to the field, and then go into a Yummy Snatchy, which is pretty good as well. It's not Tin, but I like saying Tin. I don't know why. But Martial Mental Marcher is also in the deck as well. Very good card to go and summon back one of your synchros from your graveyard as well. It does negate the effects, which is very important, but you can just link the synchro into a Yummy Snatchy and just keep playing from there. It's not bad. Probably need to play this card. And then 2 Herald of the Arclight. We are playing 2 because 2 do come up. You do make 2, you make 1 during your turn, you can make 1 during your opponent's turn, which is very nice as well. So that is it for the deck itself. Other cards I want to talk about, you can play this Link 2. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name, not going to lie with you. It requires 2 light monsters, including a beast monster, not that hard in this deck. But it makes it where your opponent cannot target cards in the field zone with card effects, and then it can recur your quick play spell from the graveyard. So if this card is linked summon, target a quick play spell in your graveyard, set it to the field. So I think this matters more if you're just on the 1 quick play spell. This deck's playing 2, so I don't think you necessarily need to play this card. But if you're on the 1, you can play this to reoccur your 1 quick play spell. And then if this card is destroyed, you can for each card in the field zone, you can apply one of these effects. If both apply them in sequence, you can destroy a card non-targeting on your opponent controls and then inflict 1500 damage as well. You're always having a field spell, so you're always having that 1500 or destroy a card. And if they have a field spell, you can inflict 1500 as well, which is pretty nice. Another thing you can do is a Dotscaper instead of Sangan. You can go for Dotscaper to make Lingeribo. Lingeribo can negate traps, so you can stop Imperm, Purge, or Songs. I think this matters more for the mirror match, but something you could play, so it's something I did want to mention as well. So that is it for the deck list. Now let's get into some combos. Alrighty, now on to the combo portion of the video here for pure yummies. So we have 5 combos to show you. I have 3 true 1-card combos to show you. I have 2 1.5-card combos to play with. And then at the end, I'll show you a 5-card sample hand using this deck as well. So the first one I'm going to show you here is a true 1-card combo with Cupsy Yummy. This is probably the best starter in the deck for you, so that's why we're going to show off the Yummy one first. But by technicality, it can be any of the Yummy cards. The second combo, the combo after this I'm going to show you, is using the other names as your starter instead of Cupsy. It still pretty much gets you to the same field. It's just, you have to play a little bit differently. So, but I will show off the Cupsy 1-card combo first. That is the one thing with Yummy, is pretty much everything in Yummy, unlike K9 and Draco Tail, will all be pretty much 1-card combos. That's the really only deck out of Justice Hunters that do 1-card combos. Draco Tail, you need 2 cards. Same thing with K9s, you need 2 cards to play. Yummy, in this case, is more of a 1-card combo to play with. So without further ado, let's actually show you the combos, shall we? So we go standby main phase here. We'll normal summon Yummy effect to go, or Cupsy Yummy, sorry, to go ahead and search for Yummy Surprise. It doesn't really necessarily matter what you search. You can search a name as well if you want to, but I like just searching Surprise first. We can now link into a Yummy Snatchy effect to go ahead, place the field spell from the deck. We go for the Reborn one, the one that can extend. If you have a link 1 on field, now we use that effect to just reborn the Cupsy Yummy from graveyard. Synchro into a Cupsy Yummy Way. This will now search as 2 cards and discard a card. We'll just search the other 2 names we don't have in rotation yet, so Cookie and Lolipo. Discard doesn't really matter. We discard Cookie. It can be Lolipo as well. Doesn't really matter what the discard is there. We'll special out Lolipo since we have the Synchro. Link off the Synchro into Yummy Snatchy here. Set 1 and pass on that. Yep, that is pretty much it when it comes to the 1-card combo. Now, this doesn't look like it doesn't do that much. But that's the thing with Yummy. The end fields doesn't look like it would do that much, but since this shit is only a once per chain, you can do so much during your opponent's turn. I'm about to show you what you can do. So draw phase, standby main. You can go Snatchy effect to go ahead and synchro summon using itself and the Lolipo to go into a Cookie. Cookie effect will trigger to go ahead and book a moon 2 cards on the field, which is really good. And then if they activate another effect, you can just go effect to bounce back. Yeah, it's any card, right? Yep, any card effect, bounce itself back to reborn 2 guys from the graveyard. You reborn Cookie and Snatchy, always reborn the Snatchy. The other one doesn't necessarily matter. You can reborn the Lolipo or the Cupsy Yummy, depending on what the board looks like. But always reborn the Snatchy here. And then since Cookie was special summoned by a Synchro effect, its effect triggers no matter what, but since it was summoned by a Synchro effect, it can pop a monster on field. So now you popped another card, and then you go Chain Link to Snatchy, since it was special summon, to go ahead and switch out your field spell into the one that can destroy a card when a synchro summon is synchro summon, or a synchro monster is synchro summon. Sorry, a little confusing there. Now we can go the effect of the synchro here. Paying another 100, since it's only a once per chain effect, to go ahead and synchro both into a Lolipo Yummy. We go Lolipo Chainlink 1, and then Orochi Chainlink 2 should trigger to pop a card as well. Don't forget that. I think I forget to do in this combo, but Orochi can now pop a card because you synchro summoned a Beast Light monster to the field. Now, the Lolipo Reborn, Cupsy Yummy Way, and Cookie here, and then go effect of... whenever they trigger a card effect here to bounce itself back to the field. Now, these effects are negated, so just keep that in mind. But Lolipo wasn't, so we'll reborn Snatchy and Cupsy. Now, you can reborn Cupsy or Lolipo, again, depending on what your field is. If you need the banish off a Lolipo, you can. But I summoned Cupsy here because by technicality, this was a one-card combo, so we just searched for follow-up with the Cupsy. Now, you can draw a card because it was synchroed by its effect, so if you want to draw a card, you could do that as well. But again, since it was one card, we'll just search for follow-up instead here. And now we can go Yummy Surprise, target 2 of our guys. Now, this is a very important interaction you should know, is you target 2 cards on the field. So we'll target Cookie and Yummy Way and 2 of their cards to bounce them back. We can chain Snatchy here to synchro summon our field here. We'll use... the Yummy Way, the Cookie, and the Cupsy to go ahead and go into Herald of the Arclight here. Now, even though the monsters you carded can't be bounced back anymore, it still resolves as much as possible because it says them. So you return their monsters to the hand still, even though you synchro summoned your monsters on the field. That's a very important interaction you should know with this card. Even though the 2 cards you targeted on your field are now off the field, it still bounces their cards to the hand, which is very, very good for us. So now we summon into a Herald of the Arclight, and we bounce 2 cards, and you have the Herald of the Arclight to Omni-negate a card as well. So with this just 1 card combo, we had a pop off a Cookie, a pop off a Orochi, a Book of Moon off a Cookie, the synchro summon Cookie. So that's 2 pops, 2 books. We had 2 bounces off a Yummy Surprise as well. And we had a Herald of the Arclight to negate a card. 7 interruptions, plus the follow-up with Cupsy, but you can also switch that follow-up for an 8th interruption off a Lolipo, depending on what the deck is. So you can up to 7 to 8 interruptions plus the follow-up. It's 7 interruptions plus follow-up, or 8 interruptions in general off of just 1 card, which seemed insane because when you passed, it looked like your field didn't really do that much, which is why this deck is really threatening, because they can do a lot during your opponent's turn. So that was the 1 card combo using Cupsy Yummy. Now let's get into another 1 card combo. Alright, so this is going to be a 1 card combo using any of the other names, either Lolipo or Cookie. Just a 1 card combo that doesn't use Cupsy. Now, it still gets to the same end field, you just have to play it a little bit differently is all. I just wanted to show it off just so you know if you draw one of these guys, you can still play your game, which is pretty good. So Lolipo or Cookie, doesn't really matter, just not Cupsy. We already showed the Cupsy effect. This is just the other 2 if you draw one of the other 2. So we'll just normal summon it, link into Snatchy here, go Snatchy effect to go ahead and place the field spell, and then go field spell effect, reborn the whatever guy you have, either a Lolipo or Cookie, then synchro off into a Cupsy Yummy Way effect to go ahead and search for the 2 monsters you don't have in rotation, which in this case is going to be Cupsy and Cookie. Now, you discard the other one. You don't discard Cupsy here. You discard the other one you search, so in this case it would be Cookie. So we discard Cookie, and then we special Cupsy since we have the Synchro 2. Go Cupsy effect to go ahead and search for the Quick Play spell, and this gets to the same end field. We'll just link off the Cupsy Yummy Way into Snatch Steal. We'll just set 1, and we'll pass on that. Same interruptions we just had in the last combo here. I'll still show it off here, so we go Snatchy effect, paying 100 during your opponent's turn to go ahead and synchro summon into a Cookie Yummy. Cookie Yummy effect will go ahead and Book of Moon 2 cards. Then Cookie Yummy return itself to the extra deck to reborn 2 Yummy cards when your opponent activates a card or effect. Reborn Cookie and Snatchy here. Again, always reborn Snatchy. It doesn't necessarily have to be Cookie. It can be something else if you want, but always reborn the Snatchy off of this. And then we can go Cookie effect, since it was summoned by a synchro summon to off a synchro monster, to pop a card, which is pretty, or pop a monster, sorry, specifically. And then chain link to Snatchy to go ahead and switch yourself the field spell, so this just triggers on the special summon. And then go ahead and go Yummy Surprise. Now, we do it early here. As long as you do it no matter what, it's pretty good. You can do it at any point in time. I just did it later in the last combo. In this combo, I'm doing it a little bit earlier to bounce 2 card, and we can chain the Snatchy here again. Interaction is very dumb. We can still synchro summon into Lolipo, and it still bounces the monsters your opponent controls, or cards your opponent controls, which is really dumb. I'm surprised. That interaction is very important to know. So go into that. Now you can go Lolipo Chainlink 1, Orochi Chainlink 2 to pop another card on field, and then reborn 2 guys from the graveyard, reborn Cupsy and Cookie here. The Cookie can be whatever, but you have to reborn the Cupsy and a level 1. Now go, because their effects are negated, that does matter. A Lolipo effect just to reborn a Snatchy and a level 1, doesn't matter what level 1. Again, if you need the interruption from graveyard, you could. But in this case, since we need follow-up, we can search follow-up instead. And then always be Snatchy, because Snatchy's the one you can quick effect synchro summon. Go Cupsy effect just to, you can either draw or search for follow-up, just again dependent on the hand there. And then we can go Snatchy effect to go ahead and just synchro the board into a Herald of the Arclight. Again, it doesn't have to use Snatchy, it just has to use Yummy cards. At least a Yummy, or including a Yummy monster, which we did with the synchro and the other Yummy cards, into the Herald of the Arclight, and then Arclight effect to negate once again. So the same combo as the last combo, we just have, it's the same exact thing, you just did it with a different card is all. So you still had 7 interruptions, 8 if you summon back Lolipo and you forego the follow-up. So you can either have 7 interruptions plus follow-up, or just 8 interruptions in general. So same combo, just with a different name is all that matters for this one. I just wanted to show it off, just so you know you don't have to open Cupsy. Any name pretty much still gets you to the combo. So that was it for that 1-card combo. Now let's get into the next one. Alrighty, now to use actual, like, proper, pure deck list combos now, because the other 2 is just pretty much any Yummy deck can use, because you're going to be using those Yummy cards anyways, but this is more using the Pier with Sangan. So Sangan is a really good card for this, and then it's a 1-card combo. It's a very insane combo as well. So you just normal summon Sangan here, link off into the Almirage here, and then go Sangan effect to trigger to search for anything except Cupsy. So Lolipo or Cookie, because Cupsy you do want to trigger this turn, but this Lolipo or Cookie, or Lolipo and Cookie, you don't necessarily need to trigger this turn. So that's very important. Do not search Cupsy off Sangan. Search for either Lolipo or Cookie. Now we just special summon Lolipo, because again, this effect does not trigger. The special summon effect is not an activated effect, which matters because Sangan makes it where you can't activate that effect. But Lolipo, they're all the Yummy effects to special summon themselves out to the field is not an activated effect. It's just a summon condition, which is very important. So now you can summon this off of Sangan, even though it's under the Sangan restriction. Now we just synchro summon it into the Cupsy Yummy way, because Cupsy Yummy way can use any Link 1, which is really broken. Go Cupsy Yummy way effect to search for Cookie Yummy and Cupsy Yummy, and then you just discard the one that's not Cupsy, so we discard Cookie in this case. We special out Cupsy Yummy effect to go ahead and search for the Quick Play spell, Yummy Surprise. Then link off the Cupsy Yummy way into Yummy Snatchy. We haven't triggered the Snatchy effect yet, so now we can get into the field spell Minion. We haven't triggered the Minion effect to Reborn yet, so we can go with the Reborn effect, special back Cookie. Doesn't really matter, you just need a level 1 to Reborn. Then Reborn, or synchro off the Snatchy and the level 1 to go into Lolipo. Lolipo effect will trigger to just bring back 2 level 1s. Their effects are negated, so it doesn't really matter. Just need to be 2 level 1s here. Then we can use the Cupsy Yummy way and any of the level 1s into Tin Martial Mental Marcher. Sorry, not Tin, just Martial Mental Marcher. To go ahead and go effect on field to reborn the Cupsy Yummy way from the graveyard. Then we use Martial Mental Marcher and the Cupsy effect to go, or Cupsy on field to go into Herald of the Arclight. Then link off Cupsy Yummy way into another Snatchy here, and this is your end field. You'll just set this and pass. So it's pretty much the same thing as the last combos I showed you off, but you end on a Herald of the Arclight on top of it. So now you have an Omni Negate to go off on top of it, which is why it makes Sangan really, really good, because if you opened up another name with Sangan, so if you opened up like just any of the Yummy names, you can just search for a hand trap instead and continue playing with this combo as well. But in this case, it was just a 1-card combo, so we had to search for a Yummy card, but still a very insane field. So you just go past. In the main phase, you do have to do the Lolipo Yummy way effect first to go ahead and reborn the guys. Reborn Snatchy. I always like to reborn Snatchy and Cookie. Again, it could be any of the level 1s, but Cookie is an interruption by itself, so summoning out Cookie is pretty good. Go Cookie effect, Chainlink 1 to pop a monster on their field, since it was summoned off a Synchro effect, and then Snatchy Chainlink 2 to replace your field spell with the pop field spell now. Now we can go Snatchy effect to go ahead and pay 100 to Synchro summon into Cookie. Cookie effect will now book a Moon card, so now you have a pop plus 2 Book of Moons now. Now you can go, and you also have the Orochi since you did summon it as well, so that's another pop on top of that as well. Then you can go Cookie effect if they activate a card or effect to go ahead and bring back Snatchy and Cupsy. Again, this can be Lolipo if you need the interruption in Graveyard, but I go for Cupsy here just for follow-up because, again, it is just a true one-card combo. Again, this can be you can draw a card off of this as well because it was summoned off a Synchro effect, but again, we're getting the follow-up in Surprise here. And now we can go Snatchy effect to go ahead and Synchro Summon now into Lolipo. We triggered the bottom effect of Lolipo, which matters, so we can't do the bottom effect, but we haven't triggered the top effect, so we can reborn 2 level 1s from the graveyard. Their effects are negated, so that doesn't necessarily matter there. But now we can go the Snatchy effect that's in the extra monster zone to go ahead and Synchro Summon using the all the guys in the monster zone to go into Herald of the Arclight. So now you summon another Herald of the Arclight. Don't forget Surprise effect. I forgot to do it. So you can do it on the effect of this Snatchy to reborn or to synchro into Herald of the Arclight. You should do Surprise Chainlink 1, then Snatchy Chainlink 2. I just forgot to do it there. So I activated just like, hey, remember that effect. It does matter. So you should get 2 bounces as well. So you can just go Surprise 1, target 2 of the names that you're about to Synchro Summon, then Snatchy 2, Synchro Summon, and it still works that way. But now you have 2 Herald of the Arclight, so you just go Herald of the Arclight as 2 Omni Negates, and you have your follow-up with Surprise as well. So with this combo, now it's just straight up 8 interruptions plus follow-up, or 9 interruptions in general, which is really, really good, because you have 2 Omni Negates, 2 Book of Moons, 2 Pops, 2 Book of Moons, 2 Pops, 2 Omni Negates, plus 2 bounces as well. So that's 8 interruptions plus the follow-up. If you don't want the follow-up and you need to like to banish a card, you can, instead of summoning Yummy or Cupsy Yummy, you can go Lolipo Yummy to banish a card, which makes it 9 interruptions as well. So a very good combo with Sangan there. Now let's get into our 1.5 card combos now. Alrighty, now on to our 1.5 card combos here. So with this one, it's Cupsy plus whatever discard. It can be any discard. I just do it Impermeator because it is a hand trap. So any discard works. Again, you can do it with any of the names. You just have to play a little bit differently, but any of the names do it. I'm just doing it with Cupsy because Cupsy is technically the best one to start with. But any of the Yummy names do it because you just summon Cupsy later on if you start with any of the other names in that case. So in this, we go Standby Main Phase. We'll just normal summon the Cupsy Yummy effect to go ahead and search for Yummy Surprise and go ahead and link off into a Yummy Snatchy. Go Snatchy effect to place the Field Spell, and then go Field Spell effect to reborn the Cupsy Yummy. Go into our Synchro Summon of Cupsy Yummy Way to go ahead and search for Cookie, the other 2 names that you don't have in rotation. So in this case, it's Cookie and Lollipop. We now discard the 1 card that we have for discard, so we'll discard the Imperm here. Now we can special out Cookie, and then we'll special out Lolipo as well, since we have the Synchro 2 on field. Link one of them off into a Snatchy. Go link off Snatchy and the other level 1 to go ahead and go into a Lolipo Yummy Way. Yummy Way effect will just reborn 2 level 1s from the field here, and then this is pretty much the same thing as the Sangan combo. We synchro into a Metal Marcher here. Metal Marcher just to reborn the Yummy Way from grave. It's negated. That doesn't necessarily matter because we're about to just link it off anyways. And now we can use just link off this into Snatchy, and then use Metal Marcher and the other level 1 you summoned off of Lollipop to go into Herald of the Arclight. And then this is the same interruption that you got off the Sangan combo. Now you do need a discard, unfortunately, unlike the Sangan combo where Sangan by itself got to this end field, but it's still something to know. Any discard with any of the Yummy names gets you to the same field as a Sangan normal summon, which is very important. So this is the same interruptions as the Sangan combo. So you just have Herald of the Arclight on field, which also has a Floodgate effect, which is really, really dumb. But now you can go Lollipop to reborn Snatchy and Cookie effect to pop a monster since it was synchro or summoned off a synchro effect. Then we go Snatchy to replace the field spell as well. And then go ahead and go into a Synchro Summon using the Snatchy effect on field to go ahead and make Cookie. Cookie effect will now just Book of Moon 2 cards, and you have a pop off of Roki as well, off the field spell, sorry. And then Cookie effect will just bounce itself back to go and summon out Snatchy and Cupsy. Again, if you need the banish from graveyard, you can summon Lolipo instead, but in this case, we're just trying to get follow-up since it is a 1.5 card combo to go. And again, Cupsy can also draw because it was Synchro Summoned or summoned off a Synchro Summon effect. So, I mean, you could do that as well, but in this case, we're just going to go for the follow-up. And then in this case, we go Snatchy effect to go, again, same combo as same interruption as the Sangan combo. We go into Lolipo. We have already triggered the bottom effect, but we haven't triggered the top effect of Lolipo. So we just reborn 2 guys, reborn Cookie and the Yummy. Again, this doesn't really necessarily matter. You just need 2 level 1s because now you can go Snatchy effect, or you go Surprise Chain Link 1, target 2 of the guys you're about to Synchro Summon to bounce 2 cards on their field. Chain Snatchy to use the entire field into Herald of the Arclight, and then you got the 2 bounces still because that interaction is super dumb. And then you have the Herald of the Arclight to negate 2 cards. So again, same thing as the Sangan combo, 2 Herald of the Arclight negates, so 2 Omni negates, 2 bounces off a surprise, 2 pops with 1 with Field Spell, 1 with Cookie, and then you have 2 Book of Moons as well, plus the follow-up, or if you needed to banish a card, you can get the 9th interruption with Lollipo instead of summoning the Yummy for follow-up. So again, same exact interruptions with the Sangan combo, but with this one you do need a discard for it, unfortunately. But that is it with this combo. Now let's get into our other 1.5 card combo. Alrighty, now on to our 1.5 card combo using Obedience School. So Obedience School is a little bit of an interesting card. So this is something you can do with a 1 card combo instead, and I'll show you how to do it in this combo because we kind of get to it with just the 1 card combo with Obedience School. But it's a little bit better with the discard with Purge as well. So Obedience School could be a 1 card combo, but it also can be a 1.5 card combo. They're a little bit of different combos, but they pretty much do the same thing here. Now, the one thing that's interesting about Obedience School, it does lock you into Beast. So you can't do the dumb shenanigans with like the Martial Metal Marcher and stuff like that with Obedience School because it locks you into Beast. That does matter. Just keep that in mind. That does matter a lot here. So we'll go standby main phase. We'll start off with the Obedience School to summon out 3 names from the deck here. Summon out, I summoned out 2 Lollipos on accident, but it should be all 3 names, Cookie, Lollipo, and Cupsy. I end up changing it to the Cupsy now, though. So 3 of the different names. Now we'll just link off into Snatchy. Snatchy effect to place the field spell onto the field, and then we'll just Synchro Summon into Cupsy Yummy Way. Cupsy Yummy Way will trigger here. We'll add Cupsy and Lollipo. Now, I won't discard off the Cupsy Yummy. You can just discard any of the Lollipo here. Keep the Cupsy Yummy in hand there. The reason why Purge matters is for upcoming combo that you'll see in just 1 second. So that's the reason why I didn't discard off a Cupsy Yummy Way, because I still want to show you that this is achievable through the 1 card combo with Obedience School as well. So we now special Cupsy. Go Cupsy effect to search for a Yummy Surprise here. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. Since you are locked in a Beast, if it's just the true 1 card combo and you don't have a discard, like with Purge, you just link into a Snatchy here and then just simply pass on that, because there's really nothing else you can do because you are locked into Beast at this point, so there's really nothing else you could do after this point. You still have the Reborn off a minion, so if you get nibbed, you're still chilling. But like that does matter a lot here. If you don't have the discard, you probably just make Snatchy and pass on that. And which in this case, I do go into Snatchy. So this would be your end field under if you don't have a discard off a Purge, which that does really matter. But since we do have the discard, we can now use Snatchy and Cupsy to go into Lollipo Yummy. Lollipo Yummy effect is to reborn 2 level 1s from the graveyard here. And now we can use Cupsy Yummy Way and Lollipo to go into Starham. Starham's a beast, so this is really nice. And this is where the discard comes up. You go effect discarding the Purge here to go ahead and reborn Lollipo. And it turns it into a tuner, which matters a lot. That does matter. It's a permanent matters for tuner, and you'll see why in just 1 second. So now Lollipo is a tuner, and we'll just link off the Cookie to go ahead and make Yummy Snatchy, and we'll set 1, pass on that. So in your draw standby main phase, now you can go effect a Yummy Snatchy. All it needs is use a Yummy monster to go into a Synchro Summon. So you can Synchro Summon using Starham and Lollipo to go into Herald of the Arclight. Since Lollipo is treated as a tuner, that is a permanent thing that Starham does. So it is treated as a tuner to go into Herald of the Arclight. And now you can pretty much same interruptions here. You have the Herald of the Arclight. It's the same interruption that you basically had off the other 1.5 card combo and the Sangan combo. You just had to make Herald of the Arclight during your opponent's turn just to kind of play around the Obedience School lock kind of thing. So now you can just summon out Snatchy and Cookie off the Lollipo. Cookie effect will pop a card, and then Snatchy will replace your field spell, and then a Snatchy effect to go ahead and Synchro Summon into Cookie. Cookie effect, Book of Moon, 2 cards, and you have the field spell to pop a card as well. And then you can go Cookie effect, just reborn Cupsy and Snatchy. And then, again, this can be Lollipo if you need to banish something from the graveyard. That does matter as well. But in this case, we're just going to get the follow-up off the Cupsy. You can also draw a card as well. And then go Snatch, or Surprise effect, targeting the Snatchy and the Cupsy to bounce back 2 cards. And then chain the Snatchy effect to go ahead and Synchro into Lollipo. Lollipo effect is to reborn 2 level 1s. And then the extra Monster Zone Lollipo effect can trigger once again, because it's a once per chain effect, to go ahead and make ourselves another Herald of the Arclight. And then Herald of the Arclight twice twice in this turn as well. So again, same pretty much interruptions. You made the Starham to kind of play around the Obedient School lock because it does lock you into beast, but Starham is a beast. So you have the 2 Omnis, the 2 bounces, the 2 pops, and the 2 Book of Moons plus the follow-up, or if you needed to banish a card, you can also banish a card as well. So again, pretty much same combos there, but just a different way to get to that combo. So that is it for all the combos. Now let's get into our 5-card sample hand. Alrighty, now on to the 5-card sample hand here. So again, I'm just going to shuffle up the deck a little bit here just to show you that it is shuffled. Again, this is just to show you like what you can do with a 5-card hand. Now with Yummy, it doesn't necessarily matter for the 5-card sample hands just because unlike like K9, like Vanquish Soul kind of needed that, and that's the reason why I showed it off in the K9 video. And same thing with Draco Tail, you kind of want to show off like a 5-card hand with that deck because that matters for those decks. But with this deck, you only really need to know what to do, like 1.5 card combos and stuff like that. I'm still going to show it off just so we have a 5-card sample hand in the video, but this isn't as necessary as it is necessary for the K9 and the Draco Tail in-depth guides that I will do. So shuffle up a little bit, and now we'll draw 5 cards. That's combo. We have 2 imperms in hand, and we have full combo. We don't even need to necessarily trigger this map because we already have the combo in our hand here, so we can just normal the... Yeah, let's do it like this. So we'll normal summon Lolipo, link off into the Snatchy here. We'll go Snatchy effect to go ahead and place the field spell. We'll do the extender one here, wherever the extender is. Is it more down? Yes, it is. Then we'll go the effect of the extender to reborn the Lolipo Yummy, and then synchro these 2 into Cupsy Yummy Way. Cupsy Yummy Way will trigger here. We'll search first, but we'll search for Cupsy and Cookie because we don't have those in rotation just yet. And then we'll just discard the map here because we don't need the map. And then we'll just go ahead and special Cupsy. Cupsy effect is a little interesting because we already have Surprise in hand, so we don't even need to necessarily search Surprise. I think we just search for a Lolipo because we haven't triggered the special summon effect of Lolipo yet. So now we can go that. I'm just thinking how we do the combo. Do that. I'll link this first into the Snatchy. We'll special Cookie to the field. Then synchro these 2 into Lolipo Yummy Way. Lolipo Yummy Way effect will trigger to reborn just 2 level 1s. Doesn't really necessarily matter. And then use these 2 to go into Martial Mental Marcher. Mental Marcher effect will trigger. Special back the Cupsy Yummy Way. We can synchro these 2 into Herald of the Arclight now. I'm wondering if we can get to double Herald of the Arclight. That is something you could do. I think you have to kind of open the right hand to do it. But in this case, it's a little rough, actually. Special link. That doesn't necessarily do anything. This is negated. So yeah, we'll just kind of just save this in hand. Just link into the Yummy Snatchy. We couldn't make S. No, we shouldn't make SP. This is a perfectly fine enough field. And we set 3 here. And we'll pass. So this is pretty much the same interruptions off the 1-card combos we've been doing. So we pass on this draw phase, standby main. We have the Herald of the Arclight to negate something, and it's also a floodgate, which is dumb. If they ever activate a card effect, we can just return this back to the extra deck. Special Snatchy and Lolipo. Or not Lolipo, Cookie. Go Chainlink 1 Cookie to pop a card, and then Chainlink 2 Snatchy to pre-place our field spell here. Place out this field spell here. And then we can go effect, pay 100 life points. Synchro off into a Cookie. We'll go Cookie effect to book a Moon a card. We can also do this to pop a card as well. Then we can go, if they trigger another effect, return this back to the extra deck. Special back Snatchy and Lolipo now, because we actually do have the follow-up anyways, because any level 1 pretty much is follow-up for us. And then we can now banish a card from their graveyard, then go effect once again to pay out another 100 life points to synchro summon. Synchro into Lolipo. Lolipo, we have triggered the bottom effect, but we haven't triggered the top effect. Effect to bring back 2 level 1s. Our effects are negated, doesn't really matter. We just need 2 level 1s for Snatchy effect to pay 100 life points. To go ahead and sync all these off into a second Herald of the Arclight. Arclight effect, boom. Arclight effect, boom. We also, I forgot about this. We should trigger this effect somewhere. I'm sorry. We probably should just trigger it on like before we make the second Herald of the Arclight. So we have 2 bounces. I forgot about that. I kind of was just kind of playing with the field, and we still have double imperm, and we have the follow up with Lollipop Yummy. So with that case, what was that? With a 5-card hand, we had 9 plus the 2 imperms, 10, 11 interruptions with just the 5-card hand because we had the double imperm, which was fucking insane. And we have the guaranteed follow-up with Lollipop Yummy as well. Very cool card. Again, it's not necessarily to do the 5-card hands as long as you know your one cards and 1.5 card combos. You're chilling, but I still wanted to show it off just so you kind of understand why that's the case. So yeah, so that is it for the Pier deck list. Now let's get into the Sky Striker deck list. Alrighty, now on to this Sky Striker Yummy deck list that I'm going to be showing off today. So, like I said with the Pure Yummy deck, Yummy is not one of those decks where you can just splash it in other decks like K9 and Dracotel. You can't. Yummy is one of those decks, it's a Yummy deck, but you can decide on different engines. So, with Pure, you are playing like the Sangans and stuff like that to like maybe search hand traps. In this case, we took out the Sangans and like the maps and stuff like that to put in the Sky Striker package in here. So you're playing 3 Engage, 1 Widow Anchor, 1 Hornet Drones, and you're playing Kagari in the extra deck. Is the only difference with this deck list as well. Is that pretty much the only difference. Now this is the non-engine, like I was mentioning in the Pier one, where you play more of a board breaker type of list, and it makes sense for Striker because Striker is kind of more of a board breaker as well with like Widow Anchor and stuff like that. So that makes a lot more sense for this list to play this. That you're playing like Thrust and stuff like that. This is again to play around like the K9 stuff where you're not triggering anything in the hand to make sure their K9 cards can't really trigger anything. Now, the only one you are doing is Fua, because I think Fua is pretty much mandatory, because Fua is Fua. It's one of the best going second cards in the game. But yeah, same idea here as just, this is a Yummy deck. You just have the Sky Striker stuff to go with it. So we're still on 3 of every name. You're still playing 2 Surprise. Again, not really necessary to play at 2. You could play it at 1 if you want to. Again, this is more of a sample deck list for you to go off of if you really want to do that. You're still playing the 3 Obedient School as well, just because it is just a free extender, even though it could conflict with the Sky Striker stuff because, you know, they're machines by technicality. If you end up drawing Obedient School plus Engage, you just go search Hornet Drones, activate Obedient School, chain Hornet Drones, just so you get the value off the Hornet Drones. Widow Anchor, this is more just a going second card. This is never really going to be made going first because you're always ending on something in the main monster zone anyway, so you're never really getting the Widow Anchor value going first, but going second is just more of a board breaker that's searchable off a Sky Striker Engage, which matters a lot. You're playing the 1 Hornet Drones because it is just at 1. If you could play more, you probably would, but it is at 1, but Engage can search it, which isn't that much of a problem. Again, this is more of the board breaker type list, so you're on Droplet Talents. You're not on the hand traps. You're more on the board breakers to play around the K9 stuff as well, so you're on only on the Charmies, the only one that does trigger in hand, but you're on Droplet, you're on Thrust, Talents, Called By, you're on still Purge, because Purge is still insane, but you're on Songs as well, since, you know, you're trying to play around the K9 cards and you're not activating anything from the hand or graveyard. You can now play Songs as well, which is just a monster negate, which is cool, and if you have a trap card in graveyard, it can search for a Dominus card as well, which you can just search for a Dominus Purge, which is very good. So overall, good card. I think this is going to be the first deck in the TCG that can fully take advantage of Dominators, which is really, really good, because Dominators is a really good card. I think the only other deck is like Stun, but I don't consider Stun a deck. Okay, fuck off. And then we're playing the 3 Imperm because it kind of fits well with our, you know, not activating anything from hand or graveyard kind of, or monster effect from hand or graveyard, which is pretty nice as well. The extra deck is pretty much the same thing. The only difference is you're playing Kagari in the extra deck instead of Almirage because you're not playing Tangan. So there's 3 Snatchy and then 1 of the Link ones plus the SP because it's generic. You're playing Lollipop Yummy Cookie, 1 of each Synchro because you only necessarily need 1. There's a way to recur them. They recur themselves and the field spell can recur them. And then you're playing Samsara Sorrow Cat, which might be a little bit weird because this is one of those cards that does trigger in the graveyard. But again, this is just okay. There's going to be something else if you want to. But again, yeah, this is something you could still cut, but it's playable still. Star Ham because of Obedient School and stuff like that. Martial Metal Marcher because it can reborn your Synchros, and then Herald of the Arclights because you're playing 2 because you can make 2. And then you're playing side deck wise, you can play like Kaina in the extra deck. This is more just for time reasons, and that's it. That's really it. It's just because time exists, and that's really the only thing you have to worry about with Kaina. If you're worried about time, you can put Kaina in here as well. You can play, like, take out the Sorrow Cat if you want to. Put a Kaina in, and you have a way to play into time, because this gains 100 life points after you activate a spell card, which, you know, you're searching Surprise. You can, you know, engage You know, if you Kagari add back a spell, you can link into Kaina, then activate a spell, Kaina gain 100 life points, right? I think, if I'm not mistaken, each time you activate a Sky Striker spell card or its effect. Okay, never mind. It's not any spell card, but any of the Sky Striker stuff, which, you know, engage, search Hornet Drones, go Kagari, add back Hornet Drones, and go Kaina. Link into Kaina off of Kagari, and then go Hornet Drones, then gain 100 life points off of Kaina, which matters a lot. But that's only if you are scared of time. I'm not scared of time personally, so I don't really care about this card. But that is something. Again, pretty much the same deck list as Pure. You're just playing the Sky Striker stuff. That's just how, again, Yummy works. It's a Yummy deck. You just have to kind of choose on which engine you're going to play with Yummy, pretty much. So with that being said, now let's get into the Sky Striker combo, shall we? Alrighty, now on to the combo portion of the Sky Striker Yummy list. Now, actually, there's not going to be that many combos with this because, like I said in the deck list, it really isn't that much of a difference when it comes to Pure. You're just playing a different engine, which is Sky Striker. So basically, you're switching the Sangan for Sky Striker, and you're still pretty much playing the same deck. Now, that does matter because Sky Striker is one of those things where you can actually play around your normal summon getting hit because you never need to use your normal summon for Sky Striker to still get into combo, right? So that's still pretty nice. But there really isn't a difference between Sky Striker Yummy and Pure Yummy because the only difference is you're taking out Sangan and you're putting in Striker, and that's pretty much it, right? So I'm only going to show off the one combo, and I'll show off 2 5-card sample hands with it. But after that, that's pretty much all the things I'm going to go over because, again, it's not really that much of a different deck, so there's really no point to go over a shit ton of combos with it. So yeah. Without further ado, let's actually get into the combo itself, shall we? So we'll go standby main phase. If you just have Engage, you can still pretty much do the entire combo with just Engage. So we'll go Engage, go and get Hornet Drones, get Hornet Drones effect, go ahead and summon out Token. Token, go into Kagari. Kagari effect, just add back Hornet Drones from the graveyard, and then go Hornet Drones effect, summon out another Token to the field. Hey, guess what? This Token's a level 1, and you have a Link 1 on the field. Guess what you can make? It's Cupsy Yummy Way, because Cupsy Yummy A is generic, so the level 1 Token can still be used for the Synchro Summon, which is pretty nice. Now we go Cupsy Yummy Way effect. Now, if you don't have both, or any Yummy names in rotation, the best 2 is the search is always just get Cookie and Cupsy because the Lollipo is a little bit more conditional, while these 2 will always be live no matter what, right? Cookie will always get the Papa Monster, and then Cupsy just gets you like follow-up and stuff like that, which is nice, or a draw a card again. But in this case, you just discard the Cookie, Go Cupsy Yummy to go ahead and search for Yummy Surprise. Then go link off Yummy Cupsy Yummy into Yummy Snatchy. Snatchy effect to go ahead and place Field Spell. Field Spell effect to go ahead and just reborn any of the level 1s. Go link off or synchro off this Link 1 and level 1 to go into Lollipo. Lollipo effect to go ahead and just reborn 2 guys from the graveyard. And then go effect or synchro off the Cupsy Yummy Way and Cupsy Yummy to go ahead and go into a Mental Marcher effect, summon out the Cupsy Yummy Way, and then synchro off the other level 1 and Mental Marcher, go ahead and make a Herald of the Arclight, then link off Cupsy Yummy Way to go ahead, because its effects are negated, so that's the one you want to link off into Snatchy. And then this is pretty much the same combo as, I think, the Sangan combo, so you pretty much the same thing. If you replace Sangan with Striker, you still pretty much get to the same thing, no matter what engine you're playing, right? Just Sky Striker stuff can help you a little bit better going second, but Sangan's a little bit better going first because it can search a hand trap if you already have like other Yummy cards in your hand. So it just depends on what you want to try to play around. But this is the same end field as the Sangan combo, so we'll just pass standby main phase. Go Lollipo effect, return itself to the extra deck. If they activate a card or effect, go ahead and special out Snatchy and Cookie. And then go Cookie effect to pop a monster on field since it was summoned off a Synchro Summon. Then switch your field spell off of Snatchy's effect. And then go Snatchy effect to go ahead and Synchro Summon. Go into a Cookie here. Cookie Yummy Way will go ahead and book a Moon 2 cards. And you get a pop off the field spell as well. Then Cookie Yummy Way puts itself back. Put a Snatchy on field. And Cupsy. In this case, we don't have a Lollipo. So Cupsy is always the best, or the only other target for us. Go Cupsy effect to go ahead and search for Yummy. Because you don't want to summon back Cookie because you already triggered Cookie effect. Probably should have said that. Search your follow-up off of Cupsy or draw a card depending on what your hand is. And then go ahead and go Snatchy effect to go ahead and synchro again into a Lollipo Yummy Way. Yummy Way effect will just go ahead and reborn 2 guys from the graveyard here. And then trigger the effect of the Snatchy in the extra monster zone. Oh, well, go Surprise first. I always forget this. Go Surprise first, target 2 monsters on the field, and then go Snatchy Chain Link 2. So you bounce back 2 cards and still get the Synchro Summon, which is pretty nice. And then go into Herald of the Arclight, and then you have the Herald of the Arclight as well. So again, 2 negates, Omni negates, 2 pops, 2 bounces, 2 Book of Moons plus follow-up, which is very insane with just the Sky Striker stuff, which is insane. Again, pretty much the same combo as the Sandgang combo. I just wanted to show off that Sky Striker still pretty much gets to the same combo as well. So now let's get into our 5-card sample hands. Alrighty, now on to the 5-card sample hand using the Sky Striker Yummy list. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be Sky Striker. This is probably going to be more just another Yummy 5-card sample hand, if you want to consider it like that, because, again, the Striker is more just an engine, not just like another deck, pretty much. So we'll give it a couple shuffles here and then draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that hand's fucking wild as fuck. We don't need 2 songs, though, but we can discard it for... we can discard it for Cupsy Yummy Way, and then we have songs live to search for like a purge for next turn, which is really nice. So standby main phase, we probably always start with this one. Cupsy effect, go ahead and search for Surprise. And then link off into a Snatchy here. Snatchy effect will trigger to place the field spell to the field. Where's the field spell? Oh, it's right there. Okay, and then we can get, now we don't even need to use the special summon effect because we already have another name in hand. So we'll just special summon out Cookie to the field. Synchro these off into a... I was right on it. Cupsy Yummy Way. Cupsy Yummy Way effect, we'll just search for, I guess, Cupsies and Lolipo, because we haven't special Cupsies by its own effect, and we'll discard songs so we get a trap into graveyard for the other songs, which is really nice. And now we can go special this. Yeah, we special this, link into the Snatchy. I'm thinking, do we do the Reborn? Reborn, go that. Yes, yeah, we can do the Reborn. Reborn effect, Reborn out Cookie is fine, doesn't really matter. What we special out, oh, I'm lagging a little bit, there we go. Synchro off these 2 into Lolipo Way, or yeah, Lolipo Yummy Way. Lolipo Yummy Way effect, summon out... Again, just 2 level 1s. It doesn't necessarily matter what you bring out. I guess these 2 are fine. And then we can go synchro these 2 off into Tin Martial Mental Marcher. Martial Mental Marcher effect will trigger. Go summon out Yummy Way. And then go synchro Martial Mental Marcher and Cupsy into Herald of the Arclight. And then link this into the last Yummy Snatchy. And we'll pass on that. So we will set this... We'll set, I guess we don't have to set songs, actually. That's not that much of a problem. I guess we'll just set Thrust as like a bluff, I guess would be nice as well. So, even again, this is the reason why I wanted to show off this. Even though it's a Striker list, by technicality, the Striker is just an engine. You don't necessarily need to draw it. It's just an engine to help you get to Yummy. This is still just a Yummy deck, right, at the end of the day. But this hand's fucking wild. So we can go end phase, standby main phase. Again, we have the same interruptions as like all the other combos. So we can go effect... Return this to the extra deck, special out Cookie and Snatchy. Goes Cookie effect to pop a card, Snatchy chain 2 to go ahead and replace your field spell, right? Wherever the field spell is at. And then you can go effect to Synchro, go into a Book of Moon here. Effect 2 Book of Moon 2 cards here. Now you have songs, so you can just like negate a monster and then search for a purge, which is really dumb. That's because we have the other songs in graveyard, which does count as a trap card. And then we can activate purge now, which is really dumb. It's a really dumb thing you can do. Then do this effect. Bounce itself back, Reborn. We can Reborn Lolipo this time because we already have the follow-up in Cupsy in hand and Snatchy, and then now you get the Banish off of Lolipo, which is nice. And then we can just re-synchro. We should be paying life points. I'm just, kind of skipping ahead because we've seen this combo a lot in this video. So I'm going to Lolipo effect, go ahead, Reborn 2 level 1s onto the field. Probably be putting this in attack because they are gaining... Oh, this one doesn't make it gain attack, so I guess that matters. This one doesn't make it gain attack, so I guess putting in defense is actually correct here. But now we can go this one effect. Target, then chain this to Synchro Summon, and we bounce 2 their cards, and we get another Synchro Summon into Herald of the Arclight. And then we have the 2 negate with Herald of the Arclight as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's the same combo. Like I said, Yummy is one of those things. As long as you know your 1.5 card combos with this deck, that's all you really necessarily need, because the rest of it will just probably be non-engine. Like in this case, we had songs, which gets into Purge. And we also had Thrust as well, if they ever played on our turn as well, which is pretty nice as well. So, yeah, that's one of our 5-card sample hands. Now let's get into the other one, shall we? Alrighty, now into another 5-card sample hand. Now, in this case, I'm going to put a Striker card into my hand just because it is Striker Yummy, so I just kind of want to have a striker card in my hand to show you off. We're still going to draw 4 random cards here, so, oh, did I not shuffle? Let me shuffle real quick. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. There we go. Draw 5 cards. That's all engine. What the fuck? Holy shit. We drew the field spell, too, which is, oh, wow, okay. I don't even know how to start this. I guess we started with this. Special token, and then Link, go into Kagari. Kagari, add back Hornet Drones, and then we can just activate Hornet Drones again. Special. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Now we can just synchro summon into Cupsy Yummy Way. Yummy Way effects will trigger to search. We fucking have everything in hand. What the fuck? We can just search this, and it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. We have everything in our hand already. I'll just get another cookie, I guess. It's fine, because putting it like 2 cookies in grave, so if they banish one, it's still, you know, technically a pop card, right? I'm lagging, though. There we go. We'll add and just discard here. If it discards, there we go. And then we'll just special this. If it specials, why am I lagging? What the fuck's going on? Okay, there we go. Effect to search. Again, we already have everything in our hand. We'll just get like a Cupsy Yummy Way, I guess. Or, sorry, Yummy Surprise. Wow, what the fuck is this hand? We don't even have to make a link by technicality, but it's our tuner, so we probably should. So we'll just link this into this, which is pretty nice. If we stop lagging, sorry, I'll go into Minion. Why am I lagging right now? What the fuck's going on? Activate Minion. There we go. Minion just Reborn is fine, and we'll just use the Reborn plus this, go into Loli. Oh, we actually don't have another level 1. Oh, we do. Never mind, ignore me. Special out Lolipo. Lolipo effect will go ahead and special. Back the 2 level 1s. And then we'll just synchro these 2 off into Martial Metal Marcher, if I can find it. Metal Marcher effect, special back Cupsy, and then go these 2. Or, sorry, it doesn't summon back Cupsy. Sorry, you special back this. Sorry, and then you go these 2 into Herald of the Arclight here. Now we can keep playing. We can go special. Yeah, why don't we just... Because we haven't specialed these guys off their own effects, so we can just go special, make a second Herald of the Arclight here, which is nice, because we have 2 Omni D8s now. And we can just... We have 2 surprise... My god, we just drew everything in this hand. We can go surprise to summon out a Snatchy. I don't even think that's like necessary, to be honest with you, right? Because if we go Yummy Way, because we don't need the Snatchy on the extra monster zone, because we already have both Herald of the Arclights anyway, so that doesn't matter to us. So I think we can just kind of pass on this, to be honest with you. Yeah, set, pass. We have 2 Arclights, which is just 2 Omni Negates, so we now can go effect, put this back to the extra deck, not going into the deck here. We'll special back Snatchy and Cookie. Cookie pops a card. This replaces our field spell. There it is. Oh my god, can I stop lagging, please? There we go. And then we can go effect to synchro summon. Again, should be playing life points, but I'm going to kind of skip through stuff. Go Cookie. Cookie pops, or Book of the Moon 2 cards. This can pop another card on field. Then effect return itself to the extra deck. We can just special back Lolipo. We don't really need to synchro summon after this. We can just go Lolipo and Yummy, which is fine, and then go Lolipo effect to pop or to banish a card from the graveyard or shuffle back, doesn't really necessarily matter. And then Cupsy will just I'll draw a card. I'll give a good draw. We draw Engage, that doesn't matter. Actually, it's pretty much dead. Engage, that's a pretty bad draw. And then we can go this effect, target. So we actually have to bounce these back because we can't synchro summon, but we bounce back 2 cards, and we still have the 2 negates with Herald of the Arclight. So we have 2 negates, 2 bounces, 2 pops, 2 Book of Moons, and that's it. And we have follow-up, I guess. And we had a banish, so that's 9 interruptions. Again, that was all engine. That was the problem. Again, like, even though I opened a 5-card hand of all engine, it doesn't really end on more negation because one card pretty much does everything by itself anyway. So I guess that was actually pretty much fine to show off. But yeah, that is it for the Sky Striker Yummy deck. Now let's get into the Primite. Alrighty, now on to the Primite Yummy deck that you can also play as well. So Primite is another engine you can play with this deck, and it's actually not that bad either. Now, the one problem with it is a little bit of a bigger engine. Now, with like Sangan, you need like 3 Sangan plus the Almirage in the extra deck, so 3 main decks and 1 extra deck card for the main or for that engine. Striker is 5 cards, 3 Engage, 1 Hornet Drones, 1 Widow Anchor, plus the Kagari in the extra deck, so it's only 1 card in the extra deck, but 5 cards in the main. While with Primite, you need 8 cards, 3 Barrel, 3 Lord, 1 Fusion, 1 Drill Beam, so 8 cards in your main deck. Then 1, 2, 3 cards in your extra deck. You need the Primite Fusion, you need Gravity Controller, and you need Striker. Striker maybe not as necessary, but you still probably need to play it in this list as well. So it's a little bit of a bigger engine, but it is a little bit rewarding because you do get Drill Beam if you need to. So if you open up like a Primite plus a Yummy card, you can just set Drill Beam. Now, we'll talk about Fusion 1 second. Fusion is the one way you can do 1 card combo with Barrel. But if you already opened a Barrel plus a Yummy card, you can just go Drill Beam instead. And the reason why that's important is because one of the side deck cards against Yummy that might be played is going to be Dark Ruler No More, because a lot of their interaction requires or their monster effects to interact, while Dark Ruler can just negate the entire thing and let your opponent play, right? Drill Beam isn't out to that, because Dark Ruler makes it where you can't respond with monster effects, but you can respond with spell trap cards, meaning Drill Beam can negate it, because Drill Beam can target any face-up card on the field, negate its effects, and banish it, which is really, really good. It's also like recursion, like this is a nice like grind engine, because you can always just like re-add back Barrel from the graveyard if you haven't triggered songs, obviously, but you can add back Barrel from the graveyard and then reset Drill Beam, and that's like kind of like a grind thing that you can do with this deck as well, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Now, Fusion, the reason why we're playing the Fusion and the Primite Dragon in the extra deck is because this is a 1-card combo with other Barrel Dragon, which is very, very important. Actually, okay, sorry, I said 8 cards for the main deck. It's actually 9 cards because we're playing Vanilla. We'll talk about this in 1 second, though. But yeah, Fusion makes it where 1 Barrel Dragon by itself gets you to full combo, because the Fusion and this still gets you to full combo, which is why you have to play the Gravity Controller in the extra deck. And once we get to the combos, you'll see why in just 1 second. Now, the normal monster you are playing, because if you are playing a Primite monster, you must play a normal monster, is Vanilla. Why are we playing Vanilla? Well, 1, it's a beast, so that matters for like obedience school reasons, and so you can still special off a load for Vanilla. So if you're locked into beast, Vanilla is still a beast you can summon. Now, there isn't any light beast, unfortunately, that you can do. This is the only beast level 1 that's in the game, if I'm not mistaken. There isn't a light beast that exists in the game. So that it's unfortunate it's an earth, but the light one doesn't matter as much. You just need it to be a beast to kind of play around the obedience school lock. So that is your one thing you do have to play in the Primite stuff. You do have to play a Vanilla as well. But for the deck, you're again pretty much same engine. We did cut Yummy Surprise to 1. You only necessarily need 1. You don't necessarily need to play 2 of this card, but I was just playing it into another deck list. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You're still playing Obedience School because it's still just a fine extender for the deck, which is pretty nice. The 3 Barrel, 3 Load, 1 Fusion, 1 Drill Beam, and then we're on 16 non-engine, so 3 Fua. This is the board breaker list, so we're only on 3 Fua, then Purge, because Purge doesn't really conflict with the Primite stuff. Songs does, because you won't get the Barrel back from the graveyard, but that doesn't necessarily matter that much, so you can still play Songs and be fine. Imperm, Droplet, and a Called By as well. Again, this can be anything you want, depending on how you want to play your non-engine with Yummy. And then the extra deck, again, pretty much same thing. I think I cut the Star Beast. You don't necessarily need Star Beast. Actually, I'm more... fuck this. No, don't get Star, okay. Put Star Beast in here. That's not how you spell Star Beast. Star Beast. Is it not called Star Beast? Am I just a fucking idiot? I know it starts with Star, though. Where is it? I'm looking for it. Or Star Ham. Sorry, that's what... Sorry, I've been calling it the wrong thing. I think that's going to come up more than the Samsara Cat will come up, so we'll do it like that. But it's pretty much the same extra deck. You're just on a little bit of a heavier extra deck with the Primite, so you're on 1 Striker Dragon, which matters to link off your Primite into a Link 1. So if you open a Barrel or a Yummy card, you still have a Link 1 to play off, because this is one of the few dragons that doesn't lock you, or the few dragon Link 1s that doesn't lock you into dragons. Gravity Controller is for the Primite combo. I'll show you in 1 second. And we're still on the SP, and then you're obviously playing the Fusion as well. But everything else is pretty much just a Yummy extra deck deck as well. So yeah, that is it for the deck list. Now let's get into the combo, shall we? Alrighty, now on to the combo portion for the Primite Yummy deck. So, we have two combos to show off. I'm going to show off a one-card Primite Barrel Dragon combo that gets you to full Yummy combo. And then the second one I'm going to show off here is going to be, what the fuck? It's a Primite plus a Yummy card. That also is going to be another 2-card combo I'm going to show off as well. And then at the end, I'm going to show off like a 5-card sample hand with the deck as well. So without further ado, let's get into the combo, shall we? So this doesn't have to necessarily be barrel. If you draw load, it does the same thing as well. Because we can normal summon barrel, barrel effect set load here, and then load effect will activate and search for fusion here. Now, if you draw a load, you can just go load, search barrel, barrel, search fusion, and it still gets to the same combo here. So now we can just go effect a barrel here, which a lot of people forget. It has a bottom effect where you can tribute itself to send a normal monster from deck to graveyard. This is where the vanilla comes up. We send vanilla to graveyard. Then we will activate Primite Fusion, which can fusion summon a dragon fusion monster from your deck by shuffling its materials from its field, graveyard, and or banishment into the deck, which is really cool because we can shuffle out barrel and vanilla to go into a Primite Dragon Nether. Now I'm going to try to pronounce that other one. Now, its effects don't matter because we're just going to send it to the graveyard. Sending it for Gravity Controller. Now we'll trigger the effect in the graveyard of the fusion to go ahead. When it's sent to the graveyard, sent from field to the graveyard, you can special summon a normal monster from your deck in defense position. And guess what we're going to summon out? We're going to summon out the vanilla once again. Now, Gravity Controller cannot be used as link material, but it can be used as synchro materials, and this is the level 1, so guess what? We can go into a Cupsy Yummy. We go Cupsy Yummy effect to go ahead and just search for Cupsy Yummy Way, sorry, to go ahead and search for Cupsy Yummy. And Cookie Yummy, we'll discard the Cookie. Again, these are the best two to search if you don't have any Yummy names in rotation. And then we'll go ahead and special out Cupsy. Cupsy effect to go ahead and get out Surprise here. And then go link into the Snatchy. Snatchy effect to go ahead and place the Field Spell. Field Spell effect can now reborn itself another level 1. Just synchro off into Lollipop Yummy Way. Lollipop Yummy Way will just reborn 2 level 1s from the graveyard here. Same combo we have seen before. We'll just go into a Martial Metal Marcher. Martial Metal Marcher effect will trigger. Summon out the Cupsy Yummy Way back from the field. Then synchro into Herald of the Arclight. And then use the Yummy Way to go ahead and synchro into Yummy Snatchy. And then we'll set one and pass. So we get to the same field. Now, the one problem with the Primite stuff is this combo, the one-card Primite, or one-card, the Barrel Dragon combo, does play into the Canine cards, because this does trigger in the graveyard. So just keep that in mind. That could be a downside if you're trying to play around the Canine cards. But it's still the same end field. We've seen this end field before, so we'll kind of just skip ahead. We can use the synchro effect, summon out Cookie, summon out Snatchy, go Cookie effect to pop a card, and then Snatchy to place your field spell. For the other field spell, go effect the synchro summon into a Cookie Yummy effect to Book of Moon 2 cards, and the field spell can pop a card. Cookie Yummy place itself back, summoning out Cupsy and Snatchy. Cupsy effect will just get follow-up or draw a card, depending on what your hand is. Go ahead and do Snatchy effect to synchro summon into Lollipop. We already triggered the bottom effect, but we haven't triggered the top effect. So we'll reborn 2 level 1s here. Then go the quick play spell here to go ahead and just target 2 of our guys we're about to synchro summon. Chain the Snatchy effect to go ahead and synchro summon into a second Herald of the Arclight. We still get the bounce 2 off of that because that interaction is dumb. And then we have the Herald of the Arclight effect. We have 2 of them actually to 2 Omni Negate. So with this combo, it's still the same thing as like the Sangan combo and stuff like that, and the Striker combo. We still get to all that interruption. The Primite combo can also just do the 1-card combo. So we have 2 Omni Negates, 2 bounces, 2 Book of Moons, 2 pops, and follow-up. That's pretty nice as well. So it's good just to show off that combo, just to show that the Primite combo can still do a 1-card combo. Now let's get into the 2-card combo involving the Primite stuff. Alrighty, now on to the 2-card combo here. So this is just if you open up Barrel Dragon or load any way to that, plus any way to a Yummy card. So in this case, where you have the best 2, which is Barrel and Cupsy Yummy. So we'll go standby main phase. We'll normal summon the Barrel Dragon, get set a load, then go load effect to go ahead and get Drill Beam to the hand. Since we already have a Yummy, we can just search Drill Beam instead of searching Fusion. Then we can just link off the barrel into a Striker Dragon. This is a level 4 or lower dragon monster. Link to the Striker Dragon. That does not lock us, which is very important. We can summon out Cupsy since it's a link 1. Go Cupsy effect to go ahead and search for Yummy Surprise. And guess what? Now we can go into a synchro summon of Cupsy Yummy Way. Cupsy Yummy Way effect to go ahead and search for Lollipop Yummy and Cookie Yummy, the 2 cards we don't have in rotation. We have to discard one of these cards, which is unfortunate, but we can just discard Lollipop. It's fine. We'll special out Cookie here. Link into a Snatchy effect to go ahead and place the Field Spell. Field Spell effect, pretty much the same combo we just saw, but now we have a Dribble in the hand. Summon out just a level 1. Go ahead and make a Lollipop Yummy Way. Reborn 2 guys. from the graveyard here, and then go ahead and make a Martial Mental Marcher. Go ahead and bring back the Yummy Cups of Yummy Way from the graveyard, then synchro into a Herald of the Arclight, and then just link into another Snatchy here, and we will pass on that. By technicality, though, we still have another extender with Lordly Load. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this effect with this current field, but it is something you could do. It's a just free extra extender. It's the worst one because it locks you out of special summon monster effects after it's summoned, but it's still something you could do. So in this case, I do it. It does matter for the Drill Beam play as well, because you do have to have a normal monster on field or a Primite monster, which we didn't have with this field. So we have to have it for the Drill Beam play. So we summon out that, so we set that and Drill Beam and pass to there. So now this plays around like a Dark Ruler No More. So if they activate Dark Ruler No More, we can just chain the Drill Beam. So if you do have a normal monster on field, let me just make sure, or one normal monster in your hand. Or if you have a normal monster on field, let me just make sure. Yep, we're good. So since we have a normal monster, we can just do the Drill Beam to negate something on field. We have the Herald of the Arclight to negate something. Then we have Lollipop to return itself, summoning out Cookie and Snatchy. We go Cookie 1, Snatchy 2. Cookie will pop a card, and then Snatchy will replace your field spell. Snatchy to synchro summon into a Cookie. Now we can use Vanilla because Cookie is actually generic, so we can actually keep the Cookie the regular Cookie on field when just summon out Cookie Yummy Way using the Vanilla. Then go Cookie Yummy Way to book a Moon card, and we have field spell to pop a card. Then Cookie Yummy Way if they activate another card to special summon a Synchro. Now we don't have to special out Snatchy because usually we have to go into Snatchy to go into Lollipop, so we get bodies to make another Herald of the Arclight. But since we are able to keep another body on field, we can just summon these two back, keep the Lollipop in the extra deck just for follow-up plays, and then go, Cups of Yummy, just search for follow-up. Since we're only on the one quick play, we just search for Cookie instead, and then use Surprise, target 2 cards and 2 your cards, and then change this to make a second Herald of the Arclight here, and then you bounce 2 cards, and then Arclight just to negate another card. So pretty much the same interruptions, but you got a Drill Beam on field as well, which is very important to negate something like Dark Ruler No More and stuff like that. So really, really good combo. So that's it for the combos. Now let's get into the 5-card sample hand with Primite Yummy. Alrighty, now on to the 5-card sample hand with the Primite Yummy deck. Again, I'm only going to do one of these because this isn't necessarily that important to this in-depth guide. So I'm just going to give it didn't mean to mill. I meant to shuffle here. Let me put that back to the deck, and we'll just shuffle the deck a little bit here. Give it a couple more shuffles, and then we'll start drawing some cards here. 4, 5. Wow, what the fuck is that hand? What? Why? What is this hand? It works. But what the fuck? Okay, we'll just normal summon, I guess. Link into Snatchy. Snatchy effect. Oh, I can't even do Snatchy effect. I already have it in fucking hand. What? That hand was weird, but it still works because we can just activate special from... I guess we wouldn't trigger this effect. Do not trigger this effect. I guess that's very important there. Then go, we reborn, now we synchro into Cups of Yummy Way, wherever Cups of Yummy Way is at. Special Cups of Yummy Way effect will trigger here. Actually, we can discard this, which is actually really good, because we can just put it back to the deck here. We'll just search for the other 2 names we don't have, so we'll just get this and Cookie. I know I said Primite. Again, Primite is just an engine. You don't necessarily need to draw Primite to still play with this deck, which is pretty nice. So we'll discard the field spell, because of course we drew fucking both field spell. Go effective special, and then search for... where is it? The surprise. And then now what do we do? That's the question, is now what do we do? We do this into that... I'm sorry, I'm just thinking on how to do it. But now I'm lagging. What the fuck? Dueling Buck has been weird today. It's an extra lag too. It's not like just a quick lag. Okay, now we'll synchro these 2 into the Lollipop Yummy Way. Effect to bring back 2 level 1s. Whenever it decides to summon itself, thank you game. Summon out this and this. Their effects are negated, which is fine, because we can just still special this from hand. Then synchro these into a Martial Mental Marcher. Marcher effect will bring back the Cups of Yummy Way, and then just use these 2 into... where the fuck is it? It's staring... I'm sorry, a little tired here. Summon that, then we'll link this into the other link one. And then now we can go... the field spell effect. Right, we can target these guys, right? I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but I'm assuming you could. So I'm going to put this one. We just need to keep 1 in the extra deck, and this, and put this back to the bottom of the deck as well, just so we have the follow-up play for that. And we have a called by and we have a droplet, so we're chilling. So we'll just pass on that. Again, same interruptions here. I think I've done it enough in the video where I'm not going to show it off here, just to kind of save us some time. But yeah, this is still pretty much the same thing. We have 2 bounces. Oh, I guess we have to set this as well. I don't know why I didn't set this. But we have 2 bounces off the surprise. We have Herald Arclight Negate. We have a 2 Book of Moons, 2 pops because we can get to the other field spell as well. We still have Called By and Droplet, which is insane as well. Again, going to save us some time. I've done this combo so many fucking times, so I don't really want to do it again. But it's pretty much the same thing that we got to as well. Even though that hand was very weird because we drew both field spells, it still ended up working because we drew a Yummy name anyway. So that is it for that. Now let's get into our last deck list, which is going to be Yummy Fiendsmith. Alrighty, now on to the last deck list I will be talking about today, and that is going to be Yummy Fiendsmith. So this is something you could do with the deck. Now, in my opinion, I don't think you necessarily have to do this, but it is something you could do. So the idea is that sometimes with some hands, you just open like a lot of stuff and you got a lot of bodies on field, and nothing is locking you except for Obedience School. So as long as you don't start with the Obedience School, you're not locked into anything. So why not just make a Moon into Wreck and then just go full Fiendsmith combo after that? That's kind of the idea with the list right now. This is probably not the perfect list. I'm going to be honest with you. You could play a bigger package, to be honest with you, but when I like to play with my Fiendsmith, I like to play with a very smaller package in the main deck because I like to access the Fiendsmith stuff through the extra deck and not really want to draw this. And it's kind of perfect for this list because Fiendsmith cannot access Yummy. I probably should put that out there right now. Fiendsmith is not one of those things where you can play Fiendsmith and like get into the Yummy combo. That just doesn't happen. That you can't do that. It's one of those things, only the Yummy stuff gets you access to the Fiendsmith stuff, and that's pretty much it. So it's one of those things is you play like a kind of Sky Striker type of list still, but you just play a small Fiendsmith package and kind of have that in your extra deck as just kind of like a removal kind of thing that maybe help you play through Nibiru and stuff like that. So that's kind of the idea. You could play a very bigger package of this. I decided not to, like I just said. I like the smaller portion of it, but you could play the bigger package if you really want to. By technicality, it's not bad because Requiem is a link 1, so if you get to Wreck, you can like summon out your names and play from there if you want to as well, so it's not the worst thing in the world. You can't play Obedience School in this list because if you're going to play Fiendsmith, you shouldn't be playing Obedience School because this Obedience School locks you into Beast, so you should just be playing like the Sky Striker stuff because that's still combo without wasting your normal summon kind of thing. So this is kind of just an idea. Now, I'm not going to do any combos with it because, well, one, it's Yummy. There really is no difference. It's just, the only difference is instead of making like an Arclight play, you would just go into a Moon instead and then make the reason why we cut Arclight down to 1. The fucking door's open. Oh, if the reason why we cut Arclight down to 1 is because you wouldn't make Arclight on your turn. You would just kind of make a DDD on your turn instead. Instead of making an Arclight play, you would go into, like, use the 2 bodies you would make an Arclight with. You would just make Moon instead, go into a Requiem and go Fiendsmith and do a DDD, which could matter because against, like, K9 and Draco Tail, you know, DDD does do a lot in those matchups, so I'm not putting it against it. But that's the reason why you have to cut Arclight down to 1, because the extra deck is a little bit tight, so that you have to make some cuts somewhere if you want to do something like that. So that is something you do, and you just make the Arclight during your opponent's turn instead, which is, you know, still very solid in my opinion. So for the deck list here, you're on 3 of every name. You put the spell down to 1. You're playing 1 for 1. If you're playing the bigger package, technically 1 for 1 can get you to both Fiendsmith and Yummy, because if you play Laurel, it does that. But since I'm on the smaller package, it's just a Yummy instead. The Striker stuff is still in here. Again, it's just a nice engine that doesn't waste your normal summon, that can still get you to your Yummy engine as well. For non-engine, we're playing the, you know, hand trap more Ash, Droll, Ghost Ogre. Again, it doesn't have to be these hand traps. It can be whatever hand traps you want it to be. I think Purge is a little bit worse in this list because there's a lot more stuff that conflicts, like the DDD. If you go second, Purge is like a kind of terrible card because Purge turns off the DDD going second. Now, would you make DDD going second? You know, it depends on what the hand is, but that is something you do have to worry about in that matchup, unfortunately. But yeah, the extra deck's a little bit tighter, but you can still fit pretty much everything you need to fit. Maybe a little bit less synchros, but that's pretty much it. Again, you only need the 1 Arclight if you're going to use the DDD play in this as well. Now, I won't do any combos with this just because, like I said, it's pretty much still just Yummy combo, and if you end up having the extra bodies, you just go into the Fiendsmith stuff instead of making like an Arclight instead, and then just go from there. Again, I wouldn't probably, if I would recommend any deck list, I probably would not recommend this deck list. I don't think Fiendsmith is as necessary in this as other engines are. Like, again, I think Yummy by itself does plenty by itself, where you don't really necessarily need the Fiendsmith stuff. But it is something, again, you're not locked into anything, so you could just throw Fiendsmith in here and perfectly be fine. This is also like other deck lists if you want to play like, I've seen like Mimighoul run around, like any like level 1 archetype you want to just splash in here just because these are level 1s that don't lock you. You could by technicality. Again, I don't think you do because Yummy is just good enough by itself where you don't need another engine in here. You just want other engines to access the Yummy stuff, not other stuff that Yummy access to it, like the Fiendsmith stuff. So I wouldn't recommend a deck list like this, but it is something I did want to put out there. But I'm not going to do any combos because, again, it's just a Yummy deck that has Fiendsmith, so you just do Yummy combo, and instead of making an Arclight, you just go into like a Fiendsmith or a Moon, and then go Fiendsmith combo from there instead. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more content on the channel, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.